Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are taking a look at the entire Sub Character 1 remake album from Younha. This whole request series comes from our friend Hinshao. Thank you so much for the request, my friend. If you didn't check out Seasonal Crime, which was chapter 1 of this, make sure you guys take a look at that because the songs themselves are separate, but the music videos tell one long story. What that story is, I don't know yet. We haven't covered it, but just so that you know where we are and where we came from chapter 1, this will be chapter 2, of course. This one is called Sub Character. It's a fantastic like Jrock J-pop song. I have my phone this time. I keep forgetting, but there are subtitles that don't get actual translations. So I'm going to use this for literal translations. Because it's literal, I may be missing some nuance, and if you understand Korean and I miss something important because of this, then by all means let me know in the comments so that we can understand the discussion from what the characters are talking about a little bit better. But yeah, I think that covers everything. So let's go check out Sub Character and get into the message of this one. All right, so she's back at the school looking for the memory book. Uh, if you didn't see episode 1, she started. She didn't start, but she had basically her memories that she sold to a stranger, essentially, and then she wanted them back. So she came to the school to. Sorry, let me back up just a smidge. The video showed her putting the like a frame or a picture or whatever, like it was supposed to symbolize her memories. Put it in a locker, locked it up here in the school. And she came back at the end of the video and had the broken lock, and she's looking for the memories now. Or at least I assume that's what she's looking for going through here. She put the book in here or whatever it was. All right, so let's see what these subtitles say. No matter how much I search, the things I loved,
이미 다 사라지고 없는데.
it's already gone. Okay, so she came back looking for it, but it's already gone. She can't find it, which is what we're seeing here. She's looking everywhere here.
어디선가 소리가 들려.
And then I hear a sound from somewhere. So she goes to investigate. The door says entry of authorized personnel is unauthorized personnel is prohibited. And then the subtitle or the dialogue here says inside the printing room at the end of the hallway where no one should be. Okay.
끝 인쇄실 안에서.
So that's where the sound came from. She's investigating. She finds 3 girls in there, and they're all making copies of this this sub character thing. But you see, it's in kanji here. It's in Japanese characters. So whatever they're copying, I'm assuming this is an homage to the original, because the original was done by Weezu. I don't actually know who that is. Yeah. Okay. Got this bright, lovely, upbeat music. And the girls are there like, shh, don't tell anyone. And she's like, yeah, I'll keep your secret.
언제나처럼 네 뒷모습만 뚫어지게 쳐다보다 갑자기 한 생각 내가 뭘 해도 너처럼 될 수 있을까 또다시 어떤 눈에 빠져 마음은 점점 오염되어가
Love this bright upbeat sound. By the way, I mentioned I love this bright upbeat sound, but this is another one of those songs where you have like this bright sound, but the lyrics are not so fun and upbeat. Like there's nothing super dark in these that I know of. We haven't gone over them yet, but I remember like glancing at the subtitles as we went through the reaction. Nothing here seemed super dark, excuse me, but it was, there's still that element of like, um, not being positive. Um, so not being positive doesn't necessarily mean negative, but yeah, anyway. I'm gonna let this instrumental finish here. Okay, so all the girls are like, I don't know what they're copying and pasting into their lockers. Is it all the same? Like, all of her stuff is the same, but is it the same for all of them? I would assume it's all like panels from that comic or that manga that they were making copies of, yes, but I was trying to see like what the other girls put in here. Okay, so yeah, she's got a different character, but it's still from that manga. Okay, so lyrically, we have, as always, just staring at your back. Suddenly I thought, no matter what I do, can I ever be like you? So this is about someone who is, well, she's going to say in the very next line, feeling inferior again. Like someone who lacks confidence and who, we're all the main characters of our own story, of our own lives. But in her case, she's lacking the confidence to realize that, and she's feeling like a sub character or maybe an NPC, a non playable character, if you're not familiar with the term. She's feeling like an afterthought in her own life, if characters isn't making sense to you. So feeling inferior again. My heart is getting stained. Temperature dropping quickly. I think that one actually is supposed to say growing cold so fast. I'd have to go back in the subtitles to look, but I know I'm not the main character. Um, I'm just another extra in the background. So that's, that's the whole message here, is like she's feeling inferior, she's feeling like an afterthought in her own life. So she wants to be this other person. She wants to be whoever that is that's the main character. The pre-chorus, oh, because you looked so perfect, I hated you for no reason. Yeah, like, I'm not sure. Some of us probably do relate to this. Even if it's a lack of confidence, we've probably hated somebody for, if we objectively sat and thought about it, like, why do I hate them? I have no reason to hate them. But in this case, she's feeling like she's less than. She's either ugly or she's not as funny. She's not as, like I said, she's not as pretty. She's not as talented, whatever it is. But this other person, they look immaculate. They look perfect and everybody likes them. And so she hates them. And I'm sorry, but I couldn't help it. In fact, still now I'm barely hanging on. So when she's talking about barely hanging on, she's like barely keeping herself together, whether that be mentally, hopefully she's not having a mental health crisis as this character, but maybe she is. But I think it's more like barely hanging on to like herself, her identity, without trying to literally get lost and become this other person. We've seen other videos where the character does try to become someone else in there. I'm drawing a blank on the title, but there was a BB song that had a video like that. I want to say there was a QWER video that did something similar. I could be misremembering, but anyway, we've seen it before, that theme. Um, then we hit the chorus, which is a really nice upbeat tone with a lot of energy. And she's like, I'm a sub character. We're not similar. Jealous at how you shine. Everyone likes you. Everyone compliments you. You look so happy. So there's a lot of jealousy here, right? Of this person and their seemingly perfect life. But you know, we see people like on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and all these other social media sites, these influencers who look like they have this absolutely perfect life. They go on these fancy vacations and they have this great, great skin, great body, and all this money, all this stuff. And then if you could actually see behind the scenes, most of them, first off, a lot of that's fake, and second, most of them behind the camera, even if that lifestyle is real, they don't have any love or connection to anybody, and so people are always carrying problems that you can't see on social media. Don't believe everything you see on social media. This isn't part of the breakdown. This is just a life lesson. Don't believe everything you see there, especially if it looks too good to be true. A lot of times it is. That's not to say good things don't happen to people. They do. But if someone's lifestyle looks perfect, there's probably a lot of stuff you're not seeing. Maybe it's massive crippling debt or, whatever. People are always going to put the best sides of themselves forward on social media. So, if you're going through a tough time and you're feeling like everything you're seeing on social media just, makes your life look even worse, it's not like that. So take some heart, and, take a few minutes to realize that like that isn't all as real as it looks. Anyway, back to the lyrics. I'm a sub character, just another loser, full of inferiority. Tell me, is this bad? I want to be you. So yeah, we're jealous. We want to be this person because everything looks great, and I'm certainly not as good as you. I feel bad for her character already, feeling inferior and feeling like a loser. This part I actually relate to. I'm not saying I've ever like really like desperately wanted to be someone else, but I've had times when I look at like, obviously you look at somebody with more money than you, like, man, I wish I could do that, or someone with more success, or in my case specifically, someone who actually gets attention from ladies, and they can not necessarily have their pick, but have many options. And I look at those guys and I'm like, man, I wish I could be like them. I wish I looked like them, whatever. So I can relate to this aspect. I've never actually wanted to be that other person. But the thought has creeped in. So I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like others of you might relate at least in some small part to that. So let's check out verse 2 here. I like that part right there because she actually like emoted. You could see her face scrunch up and like almost getting just a little bit of anger in the expression. With that line, who's to blame? Maybe it's you. Like, this is your fault, not mine. Like, it's your fault you're so perfect. Okay, so the chorus changes there a little bit. But verse 2 was, don't know since when, but I started hating myself. Then a sudden thought hit me, who's to blame? Maybe it's you. Like, maybe because you're so perfect, that's why I hate me, because I'm not you. I know too that you're innocent. It's just me. That's all. So it's this conflicting thought of like the jealousy versus realizing like these are my problems. Like I shouldn't be hating someone else for how I feel. How does it feel being a main character? Do you feel hurt too sometimes? In other words, like, are you as perfect as you seem? Is life really as great as it looks? Like, if I were you, would life really be better? Or do you actually, do you cry? Do you feel pain? Do people hurt you at times? Do you get let down? Then the pre-chorus, I don't understand anything anymore. Everything's tangled up so complicated. Sorry for just hating you, but it's difficult to get rid of this feeling. That's also relatable. If you've ever had a feeling towards someone, especially one that you didn't start out having a reason for, in this case it's hate, but if it could have been love, it could have been jealousy, whatever. Usually jealousy comes from at least some place of like they have something you don't, but it could theoretically happen. If you've ever had those feelings towards someone and then you logically think about it and you're like, why do I feel like that? That's dumb. Like they've done nothing wrong. Why do I hate them? Why do I love them? Why am I jealous? Whatever. But then knowing that and divorcing yourself from that feeling are two different things. You can know it's stupid and illogical to feel like that, but that doesn't make it any easier to stop feeling that way. Uh, Chorus, like I said, it changes a little bit. I'm a sub character. I'm not that important. Tell me, do you ever feel this way? So that this goes back to, asking, do you feel hurt sometimes too? I know I'm ugly. This is the losers montage, and that's so sad. Like, I feel ugly, and, I can relate to some of this, but I hate when, especially women, I hate when women feel ugly. And I know she's not singing as herself here, although, maybe she is. But, there might be a reason she picked this specific song. But in general, I don't necessarily think she's talking about herself. But women in general who feel like they're ugly and express it, it was really sad to me. Um, but anyway, I know I'm ugly. This is the losers montage with a set ending. I'm a sub character, just another loser. So with a set ending, of course, is like it's predetermined. Like this, the story ends like this. Where do I go now? Tell me, is my story going to be thrown away like this? So is she really going to lose herself and throw herself away, her story, in pursuit of being like this person? Or is she going to realize that she has beauty and that she has things that make her uniquely her and that she is the main character of her own story? And also, this line about, tell me, is my story going to be thrown away like this, goes back to the seasonal crime about how we have lost our memories or gave them up willingly, the good and the bad. And those memories make us who we are. And we learn from them, again, good or bad. And so, remember this video, she can't find those memories that she came searching for. They're gone. So that's, tell me, is my story going to be thrown away like this, ties all of that together. All right, now we go to the bridge. Okay, before we hit this really cool chorus, because we're going to get like a key change and an energy change. The bridge here, although no one ever said anything, I keep comparing you and I, thinking of you as badly as I can. So, like, no one ever compared us verbally out loud, and no one ever said, like, this person's better than you or whatever. Like, I keep thinking it. and I keep comparing us, and I keep comparing what you look like to me, what you have to me, all that stuff. So, she keeps thinking of this person as the bad person or the bad guy so that it will make it seem like this isn't her fault, like how she feels. Then I breathe out in relief. I know I'm really not great. I tried to fix it so many times, but it never worked. I'm not sure here if she's and it could mean both, but I'm not sure if she's talking about she tried to fix it so many times as in she tried to stop hating this person so many times and she can't, or if she meant she tried to fix how she feels about herself so many times and it's not working. Wrong chorus. I said this one. Sorry, I thought this was the one where we're going to get the more up tempo. It's going to be the last chorus, but anyway, sorry to interrupt. This one's a repeat of an earlier chorus. We won't talk about this. Okay, this pre-chorus is where we like light the fire and we get this big explosion of energy, the key change, the more up tempo. But it says my story at the end is, and then we're going to get this final chorus where we're going to have some sort of resolution. So let's see what it is. Okay, before we get into the subtitles, the chorus here, the resolution of this part of the story. I'm a sub character. It's not important at all. So she's coming to terms with the fact that she's a sub character in the sense that she's not as good as or as pretty as these other people, this other girl, whatever. And even that is still a faulty mentality. But at the very least, she's moving past the feeling of inferiority and hatred towards not even just resignation, but acceptance and trying to grow. So I'm a sub character. It's not important at all. Please, someone tell me that's not true. So she wants someone to tell her that she's more than this sub character. I know it doesn't mean anything now. It was all set, but I don't care. Even as a loser, can't I still try hanging on? So, like, I don't want to give up. Can't I keep going even if I'm not as good? And she wants that reassurance. The only problem is she's looking for that reassurance from someone else, like externally. And unfortunately, whether you've been in that situation or not, it has to come from within. It can help when other people validate, but it doesn't matter how many compliments someone gives you. If you don't feel them yourself, it's not really going to change. So the last two lines, though, help me, hold my hand, because you're a main character. So, she's wanting help from this more popular, prettier person. Like, maybe you can help guide me. Maybe you can help show me that I'm more important than, this side piece in my own life. All right, now let's look at what we've got here. So that's just sorry. There's something I'm looking for. She starts out with if, and then this line says, welcome to the right place. Okay, so this creepy girl in the middle is like, hey, if you're looking for something, we probably have it. Welcome. Does that say what? Welcome to the baby? That, I don't think that's what that says. Okay, well, that's what it says on here, so someone's going to have to correct it in the comments. Oh, crap. It went by too quick. So welcome to the baby. Welcome to the right place. And then we've got Let's Come In and Talk for Now. Come in, hurry up, hurry up. Okay, so there you go. This was actually, other than the whole baby part, I think that was pretty useful. Alright, my friends, so that was Sub Character from Younha. That was track 2 or chapter 2 on the Sub Character 1 album. Hinshell, thank you so much again for the request. We'll be back for the last 2 of this album a little bit later. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell to enable your notifications. And if you want to get a request done like Hinshell did, you can do that one of 2 ways. You can either subscribe to Patreon at the gray tier or higher. Shout out to our friends who have done that. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Gray tier and above get access to all the content that's there, free or paid, in addition to their monthly requests. But if you're not interested in the Patreon benefits for whatever reason, there's a link to PayPal in the description below, and there's instructions there on how to use it. So feel free to take a look, and I will see you guys for the next one. Take care, everyone.